Happy Monday to you. This is Trader Tim from eminimind.com doing a market analysis of the E-mini S&P. Not a whole lot has really transpired since Thursday's trade recap video, but I thought I'd come in here and talk a little bit about the price action from the last couple of weeks on the ES and what we may or may not expect here this week. So you can really see sort of the two boxes that we've created, one below this negative 23% target and one above. And the target that I'm speaking of is just the uh, essentially 23% beyond highs of this anchor point. So if we were breaking down a standard Fibonacci retracement, drawing from low to high, and that low is just a prior major swing low where we have a little bit deeper pullback. It's not just a pullback of 1 or 2 days. We've got a little bit deeper pullback, and that creates more of a major swing low. And then if I were to come in, something like this here would be a minor swing low, minor swing low. And so that pullback traded at 27.9650s, and its target, what I use for a target, is that negative 23% line. You could also look at it as 123%, essentially 20% beyond highs that we were already trading at. So at the time, now you've got it drawn up like so, and you're looking for the market to pull back and continue in that prior trend. So the prior trend being up, market pulls back to the 50%, and then looking for it to go beyond highs by about 20-25% before usually we see some sort of resistance. And sometimes, as is the case right now, we've sort of knocked our head on this resistant point, and then we've rested as a support level. So we've got a lot of time spent right around this 2900 level. A little bit below, a little bit above. The last 5-6 days have all been pretty much overlapping days. We had this bearish candle here last week, and then we followed that up on Thursday with the hammer. And then today we were able to break above yesterday's high. So that makes me think that when I see that sort of a pattern where we have a hammer that puts in a low, it's not a very deep low, meaning we just ticked below the prior day by a couple of points. But then when we break above the high price of the lowest bar in the pullback, which at this point is this little hammer candle, that's a strong sign for the bull. So tomorrow, Tuesday, I want to see a continuation of this type of price action where we open up and sort of move higher throughout the day. I will be doing a live trading session, and you can tune in over at actually, I'll put a link in the video below, so you can just click that link and check out the live trading session. I do that every Tuesday just as a way to kind of open up my trading screen and walk through the trade setups in real time and answer questions, things like that. As I zoom and pull the chart down a little bit, you can see this horizontal line up here at 29.46s. That's the all-time high in the ES, and we've been looking at it for quite a while, and we should be able to get there in this next push if that is indeed what happens tomorrow. If we get a push higher tomorrow, I mean, we're only 50 points away, not even 40 points away from breaking new highs. And yes, the candles lately have been fairly small. I mean, the biggest candle in the last 3 weeks has been 24.5 points. And if we come back and look at some of these candles, 46 points, another 46 pointer. So it could only be a couple of days that we get to move, that 40, 50 points into new highs. And then when we get into a situation where we're in new highs, we have open space to the left, meaning there's no resistance anywhere because it's a new high. the market can really move very, very quickly. So, that's the case for the upside. If we sort of get some sort of fake out this week, or we're still in the thick of earnings. This week we also have new home sales tomorrow, and then Friday is GDP, along with consumer sentiment. So if we can't come up and break, not just break highs like tomorrow, one of the things that I look at is the highest close that we've had as of late. And so, yes, this day here we may have opened and traded up at 29, 23 and a quarter, but the highest close through all of this is back here. And that was a close at 1275. So tomorrow we don't necessarily need to break 23 and a quarter, but I would like to see us close higher than 12 and 1275, because that sort of continues the confirmation of the bullish sentiment and continues the trend higher. And then with that momentum is what would help drive us up towards this 2950 area. So if we can't do that, then Thursday's candle is also important, because breaking the low of that candle, 28.95, should allow us to get a little bit deeper sell-off to the next 50% retracement, 28.56. And then if that's the case, then pulling back to that 50% should be enough of a pullback for folks to see that as a good buying opportunity, and then that should lead us to all-time highs. So regardless of how we get there, I think the likely chance that we will move into all-time highs is pretty great. And from an intraday perspective, you just want to make sure that as we're approaching these highs, I start to take more anticipatory trades, meaning I'm taking trades, before we're actually breaking out, trying to get into an uptrend, trying to get into a long setup before we actually break out into a new high, because there may not be a deeper pullback once we make that new high. So that's how I sort of take my larger, bigger picture analysis and then apply it to the intraday, my actual day trading in the ES. And then let's see, the last thing I wanted to talk about, we had the 3-day weekend this past weekend, and that the following Monday I like to kind of slow play into the week. And today we rallied right off the open, first 30 minutes, and then upon pulling back, we kind of went right back into the situation of a little bit of conflicting signals, where we pulled back to the 50% retracement. And then when we bounced, we stopped right at the top of the first 30-minute range. And so, we have a situation where it was kind of a triangle, where we had lower highs and at the same time making higher lows. So I chose not to take this 50% long off of the full halfway back of the day, because we were kind of forming this tighter range, and then also stopping at the top of the first 30-minute range. You expect to see some shorts at the top of the range, longs at the bottom of the range, and we kind of got squeezed and really double bottom, or retested the 50%, the halfway back of the day, a second time before making a move higher. But then when we pulled back, it was a fairly deep pullback. And so, that's why I find it beneficial to kind of slow play into the week in general, but especially after a 3-day weekend. Like if I came in here and draw a low to a high, you can see how we came down and broke the 61.8, so pretty messy, even though the general trend for the day was up. If I go to a 30-minute chart, we can really see it. The initial move up, and then sort of a just a drift higher. But a lot of these bottoming tails and even topping tails in here. And when you see that on a 30-minute chart, you can expect that the intraday price action was probably fairly challenging to trade. So kind of slow played it into the week. Didn't make any trades today. Just more making observations that can give me some good cues for the week ahead. So hopefully this week we break out of this box that we've been in here up here. And if we can, we should have some very good chance to get into some solid trend days and start seeing, those 10 plus point winning trades. And you get into some of those, and it doesn't take many uh, 6, 8, 10 pointers to really rack up some a good P&L on the week. So if you can get through these sort of choppier weeks. Not really choppy in that they were sort of range bound, but choppy in the sense that we had mixed signals and just not a lot of follow through. If you can get through those weeks, then on the back side of that or on the other side, the outcome is usually some really good trend days. So fingers crossed that we get some opportunities this week, and I wish everyone a good week of trading and hope everyone has had a great Easter. And if you have questions, as always, you can shoot me an email, tim@eminimind.com.